Prophecy. Micah 5 verse 2. The Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. Fulfillment. Matthew 2 verse 1. Jesus was born there. Why it matters. His birthplace was determined by a Roman census that forced Mary and Joseph to travel there, outside of their control. Prophecy. Zechariah 11 verses 12 to 13. The Messiah would be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. Fulfillment. Matthew 26 verses 14 to 15. Judas Iscariot agreed to betray Jesus for 30 silver coins. Why it matters. The exact price was foretold centuries earlier and fulfilled precisely in the events leading to Jesus' arrest. The chief priests offered this amount to Judas, and they certainly weren't trying to prove Jesus' identity as the Messiah by fulfilling this prophecy. Quite the opposite. They were trying to debunk him. Prophecy. Isaiah 53 verse 9. He would be buried with the rich in his death. Fulfillment. Matthew 27 verses 57 to 60. Joseph of Arimathea, a wealthy man, placed Jesus in his own tomb. Why it matters. This unusual burial fulfilled prophecy and contrasted the common practice of discarding crucified criminals in mass graves. Prophecy. Matthew 24 verses 1 to 2. Jesus foretold that not one stone of the temple would be left standing. Fulfillment. In AD 70, the Romans destroyed the temple in Jerusalem, exactly as he said, with not a single stone left standing. Why it matters. This event was recorded in history by both biblical and non-biblical sources, proving the accuracy of Jesus' prophecy. Prophecy. Jeremiah 25 verses 11 to 12. The prophet Jeremiah foretold that Judah would serve the king of Babylon for 70 years. Fulfillment. In 586 BC, the Babylonians destroyed Jerusalem and carried the people into exile. Exactly 70 years later, King Cyrus of Persia allowed the Jews to return to their land, just as God had promised. Why it matters. This prophecy shows God's sovereignty over nations and history. It also proves his faithfulness in keeping his word, even through judgment and restoration. Prophecy. Jeremiah 29 verse 10. The Lord declared that after 70 years in Babylon, he would bring his people back to their homeland. Fulfillment. Around 538 BC, King Cyrus of Persia issued a decree allowing the Jewish exiles to return to Jerusalem, fulfilling Jeremiah's prophecy. Why it matters. This precise fulfillment shows God's sovereignty over nations and history, proving his faithfulness to his promises. Prophecy. Isaiah 45 verses 1 to 3. The Lord named Cyrus king of Persia, long before he was born, declaring that he would conquer nations and set his people free. Fulfillment. Around 539 BC, the Persian Empire rose to power and defeated Babylon. King Cyrus then issued a decree allowing the Jewish exiles to return to their homeland, fulfilling Isaiah's prophecy in exact detail. Why it matters. This prophecy is remarkable because Cyrus was mentioned by name over 100 years before his birth. It shows God's absolute sovereignty in history and proves that no ruler rises apart from his will. Prophecy. Daniel 8 verses 5 to 7 describes a mighty goat from the west conquering the ram. Medo-Persia. Fulfillment. Alexander the Great swiftly defeats Persia. Why it matters. The rise of Greece as foretold centuries earlier. Prophecy. Daniel 8 verse 8 and 11 verse 4 say the great horn would be broken and divided into four. Fulfillment. After Alexander's death, his empire splits among four generals. Why it matters. The prophecy of division came true in exact detail. Are you still not convinced the Bible is true? Watch for the publication of Part 2 for even more proof the Bible couldn't have been fabricated by man.